Hey guys, welcome back to the DrCliffAuD vlog. This is vlog number 93, and today I want to talk about the proposed new infrastructure and spending bills that could include hearing aids as part of Medicare. Now, it's really nice to see, actually, that the federal government cares so much about hearing loss, probably because they understand just how big the negative ramifications are for individuals who have hearing loss who do not have that hearing loss treated. Of course, if you guys saw my vlog last week, you know that I talked the entire time about the new proposed guidelines for over-the-counter hearing aids. Well, this past week, a lot of discussion was had about whether or not they are going to include our politicians, whether or not they're going to include hearing aids as part of Medicare, or, to have them cover them under Medicare to at least some degree. So I want to speculate on that in today's video. But of course, if you guys could do me a huge favor and give me a like for this video, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps these videos gain more traction so more people can learn about hearing loss, hearing aids, hearing treatment, so on and so forth. So I really appreciate it. Now, let's go ahead and start talking about the things that we can expect. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is that we shouldn't really get our hopes up, because we have no idea whether or not this is actually going to make it into the final proposal for these bills. They're talking about it. They're using hearing aids and optometry or eyeglasses and dental. They're including all of those as bargaining chips at this point right now. And who knows what will make it in and what will not make it in once they actually get down to voting whether or not these bills are going to be signed into law. The second thing that we should talk about is who's actually going to qualify for hearing aids. Well, if you have Medicare, if you're over the age of 65, or rather age 65 or older, then you can actually sign up for Medicare, but it is more likely going to be the individuals with severe to profound hearing loss, which in the grand scheme of things is a very small percentage of individuals with hearing loss. The vast majority of individuals have a mild sloping down to moderately severe or severe level of hearing loss, or somewhere inside of that range. So to have severe to profound levels of hearing loss, a lot of those individuals are cochlear implant candidates already, which cochlear implants are covered under Medicare. So we don't know as of yet, but it seems like there could only be a small portion of individuals with Medicare that would actually get this hearing aid benefit. Third, if hearing aids are included in this infrastructure and spending bills, then what is it actually going to cover? Is it going to cover the cost of the hearing aids? Is it going to cover the cost of the hearing aids and additional testing and fitting and programming and, follow-up care for those hearing aids? Who knows? I think a lot of individuals up on Capitol Hill do not have a good understanding of exactly what goes into professionally fitting hearing aids. If they think they can just give out vouchers if you have Medicare to just go in and pick up your hearing aids, that's not exactly how it works. We don't know if it's going to be something like you every 5 years get a $5,000 benefit for you to go out and just procure whatever hearing aids that you want to. We don't know if it's going to act more like traditional insurance, where there's an actual allowed amount number and then your hearing care provider can order you hearing aids within that allowed amount. We don't know if there will be the capability of you paying a difference to upgrade technology to better technology, because likely the allowed amount will not cover premium level technology. It will probably cover some of the lower tiers of technology. But again, who really knows? Because until we have the actual guidelines for this, we're not going to be able to know what we could actually fit our patients with, let alone how much care we can actually provide them during the fitting and long term, and ensure that we are still going to be able to stay in business. Which leads me into the fourth point, which is if Medicare does cap the allowed amount at a certain number, then it is basically going to be a situation where hearing care professionals just go find the cheapest hearing aids they can possibly find to give to you, and then they can collect that reimbursement from Medicare. Now, if that number is really high, then they will give you better technology, most likely, and probably better quality of care. But if that number is really low because they don't want to spend a lot of money on hearing aids, hearing care professionals are just going to go and buy the cheapest hearing aids possible, most likely, and then provide you with a very little amount of care. So if you're someone who needs a lot of care, and individuals who have severe to profound hearing loss typically do need a significant amount of care, then you're probably not going to get that with this Medicare coverage. Now, on the other hand, if they do have a really high allowed amount and it allows your hearing care professional to procure the best hearing aids to dispense to individuals who have Medicare and actually pays them to provide an adequate level of care, then it's a win-win across the board. But you have to remember the amount of money, because audiologists, not hearing instrument specialists, but audiologists have to be essentially providers of Medicare in some way, shape, or form. There's a couple of different, participating provider, non-participating provider. I'm not going to get into those specifics right now, but there is this aspect of we have to, if you have Medicare, we have to be able to let you use your Medicare benefits when you come in to see us. And do you know how much we actually are able to be reimbursed from Medicare for a hearing test? Just take a wild guess. It's like $30. Something around there, give or take a few bucks, but it's like around $30 that we actually get reimbursed for doing a hearing test. And we would have to do, I don't know how many thousands of hearing tests just to cover the cost of the equipment to do the hearing test. And that doesn't include any of our professional time to actually conduct the hearing test and review the hearing test with you. So essentially what I'm saying here is that every single time that we do a hearing test, we lose money, and I guarantee you that every single other audiologist out there who conducts a hearing test and has Medicare pay for it, they are losing money on that transaction, which in most cases, it's fine. It's like we make up the difference in other areas with the dispensing of hearing aids, with programming hearing aids, providing aftercare, doing other variety of different tests that are not covered under Medicare that we can charge privately for. That usually covers the cost. So basically what's happening here is that either yourself or other individuals who do not have Medicare yet, they're covering the costs that Medicare doesn't cover. But what happens when the vast majority of patients who come in our doors have Medicare and Medicare wants to pay like $10 to get your hearing aids program? Like, you just cannot do it. Like, eventually there's no money that can be made in that, and you're gonna see clinics closing their doors, including mine. Like, if I am dictated that I have to accept all of these low reimbursement rates from Medicare, just like we do with hearing tests, that's why I'm speculating that these reimbursement rates are going to be low. I can't opt out of Medicare, so I have to do it. And so basically what I'm saying here is that if I can't maintain the highest level of care possible, I am not going to be able to stay in business. I'll probably sell my practice. I will probably go do other things on YouTube or something like that that I know I can make a living at, because I know that I have a certain standard, and I am not going to turn my clinic into a clinic that just, is churn and burn. Just get people in, get them fit really quick, get them out the door, because if we spend anything more than 20 minutes with them, we start to lose money. Like, I'm just not going to be that type of clinic. I mean, this is essentially what happened, at least in my clinic, with Medicare Advantage plans. You may not know this, but if you have traditional Medicare, there's no hearing aid coverage with that. But if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, usually they contract with third-party companies that will have some kind of hearing aid benefit in there. Now, I shouldn't say hearing aid benefit. It's more like a discount program where you can save a little bit of money on hearing aids. But the thing is that the clinics get reimbursed such a low amount, and I have videos talking about this, other vlogs that I did maybe 6 to 12 months ago. But essentially the reimbursement rates are so low for the provider that the only way that a provider can stay in network with those particular managed care companies is to, again, have it be like this conveyor belt where you got to get, quantity over quality. And there's no really other way of doing it. Either you lose money or you turn it into a quantity game and lower the standard of care. I know this because I used to participate in these Medicare Advantage plans, and at the end of the month, I'm like, wow, I just lost money by treating those patients. You know what? I just can't accept it anymore. And fortunately, I can not be a part of those third-party managed care companies. I do not have the ability to not be a part of Medicare. So it's just kind of one of those, situations where there's no win. But again, this is all speculation. We really don't know what's going to happen. This could be something that's fantastic for both individuals with hearing loss and clinicians who want to treat those individuals with hearing loss. If Medicare is set up to where there is some amount of credit that you get to spend towards hearing aids, and then you can get whatever hearing aids you want to, and if the hearing aids cost more than what that credit is, you can pay the difference. You still save a good amount of money, but you don't have to skimp on the quality of care that you ultimately get. Now, if they do it that way, they are geniuses. I think that this is a fantastic idea because it benefits everybody and the quality of care still stays really high. And if there's anything that you know about me, the only thing I really care about is an extremely high quality of care and me keeping my doors open. So I guess that's two things that I really care about. I mean, I need to be able to stay in business, but like I mentioned before, I'm not going to sacrifice a significant amount of quality in order to keep my doors open and make a living. For me, that's just not fulfilling, and it's something that I'm not willing to do. The other thing that I think is kind of weird with this is that because there's all this speculation that hearing aids will just be covered completely under Medicare, I think there's potential for individuals to just like wait and not treat their hearing loss at all until this bill or these infrastructure and spending bills like get signed into law or like become active or whatever you want to call it. That could take a while, and it would be horrible to see someone go, potentially up to a couple of years without hearing treatment, just waiting for this to potentially unfold and be a thing. So, my encouragement is that you find a way to afford hearing aids. You don't have to go on the most expensive route. You don't have to come to my clinic and pay really good money for really high quality of care. You can go some places that have like really, really cheap options. You probably won't get a whole lot for that, but at least you get the ball rolling, get some level of amplification to treat your level of hearing loss. But all that being said, who really knows what's going to happen? I don't know. All of this whole video is entirely speculation. Now, there could be some things that are true about what I just said. There could be some things that like do not happen based on what I've said, but it really just is going to take time for us to figure out what's going on. And to be honest with you, this next week could tell us a lot if they actually vote on this. I think this upcoming Tuesday is potential where they could vote on these plans. So I guess we'll see what happens at that point in time. Make sure that you stay tuned to the vlog. Make sure that you're subscribed. So when I release a new video on this, which will probably be next weekend is what I'm guessing, then you can actually keep informed. I will, whenever they come out with it, I will read through the entire hearing aid section of those documents. I'm not going to read the whole entire infrastructure and spending plans. I will read the hearing aid section of it, though, if it happens to make it in to the plans. If it doesn't, of course, I'll let you know that as well. But anyway, that's it for this week's video, guys. I really appreciate you watching, and as always, I'll see you next week.